Welcome all. In this session, we will discuss about the attribution or attribution theories. In social psychology, attribution is the process of inferring the cause of events or behavior. But in real life, attribution is something we all do every day, usually without any awareness of the underlying processes and biases that leads to our inferences. For example, over the course of a typical day, you probably make numerous attributions about your own behavior as well as that of the people around you. When you get a poor grade on a quiz, you might blame the teacher for not adequately explaining the material, completely dismissing the fact that you didn't study. When a classmate gets a great grade on the same quiz, you might attribute his good performance to luck and neglecting the fact that he excellent study habits. So why do we make internal attribution for something while making external attributions for others? Part of this has to do with the type of attribution we are likely to use in a particular situation. Cognitive biases often play major role as well. What impact do attribution for behavior really have on your life? So the attributions you make each and every day has an important influence on your feeling as well as how you think and relate to others. When telling a story to a group of friends, you are likely to tell the story in a way that places you in the best possible light. So it basically explains the interpersonal attributions. We also tend to attribute things in ways that allows us to make future predictions. If your car was vandalized, you might attribute the crime to the fact that you parked in a particular parking garage. As a result, you will avoid that parking garage in the future in order to avoid further vandalism. So it is like a predictive attribution. You can predict something. Then when you use explanatory attribution to help us make sense of the world around us, some people have an optimistic explanatory style while others tend to be very pessimistic. So people with an optimistic style attribution positive events to stable internal and global causes and negative events to unstable external and specific causes. Those with a pessimistic style attribute negative events to internal, stable, and global causes, and positive events to external, stable, and specific causes. So, attribution theory is concerned with how ordinary people explain the causes of behavior and events. For example, is someone angry because they are bad tempered or because something bad happened? So attribution theory deal with how the social perceiver uses information to arrive at causal explanations for events. It examines what information is gathered and how it is combined to form a causal judgment. So Header believe that people are naive psychologists trying to make sense of the social world. People tend to see cause and effect relationship even where there is none. So Header didn't so much develop a theory himself as emphasizing certain themes that others took up. There were two main ideas that he put forward that become influential. These are the types of attribution: internal attribution, or you can say that dispositional attribution, and external attribution, or it is also known as a situational attribution. But researchers also classify attribution into other dimension, that is a stable and unstable attribution. Now first of all, internal versus external attribution. Dispositional attribution means internal attribution assign the cause of behavior to some internal characteristic of a person rather than to outside forces. When we explain the behavior of others, we look for enduring internal attribution such as a personality traits. This is known as a fundamental attribution error also. For example, we attribute the behavior of a person to their personality, motives, or beliefs. It is called as a internal attribution. External attribution, or you can say a situational attribution, the process of assigning the cause of behavior to some situation or event outside a person's control rather than to some internal characteristics. When we try to explain our own behavior, we tend to make external attributions such as a situational or environmental factor. So this is called as a external attribution. You can easily understand the concept with this example. Radhika cars break down on the freeway. If she believes the breakdown happened because of her ignorance about cars, she is making an internal attribution. If she believes that the breakdown happened because her car is old, she is making an external attribution. Now, stable versus unstable attribution. Researchers can say that when people make a stable attribution, they infer then an event or behavior is due to stable or unchanging factors. When making an unstable attribution, they infer that an event or behavior is making an unstable attribution or temporary factor. According to example, I can explain the stable and unstable. With the example, I can explain the stable and unstable attribution. For example, Rohit fails in his maths term paper. If he attributes the grade to the fact that he always has bad luck, he is making a stable attribution because this cause is always there. If he attributes a grade to the fact that he didn't have much time to study that week, he is making an unstable attribution. Now, attribution errors or biases. When people make an attribution, they are guessing about the causes of events or behavior. Their guesses are often sometime wrongs. Their perceptions are sometime wrongs or predefined. So people have a systematic biases which leads them to make incorrect attribution. So there are some biases or are also include like fundamental attribution errors, self-serving biases, and just for hypothesis. Now, first of all, we will discuss about the fundamental attribution error. When it comes to other people, we tend to attribute causes to internal factor such as a personality characteristics and ignore or minimize external variables. This phenomena tends to be very widespread, particularly among individualist culture. So psychologist refers to this tendency as the fundamental attribution error. Even though situational variables are very likely present, we automatically attribute the cause to internal characteristic. The fundamental attribution error explain why people often blame other people for things over which they usually have no control. The term blaming the victim is often used by social psychologists to describe a phenomena in which people blame innocent victims of crime for their misfortune. In some such cases, people may accuse the victim of failing to protect themselves from the event by behaving in a certain manner or not taking specific precautionary steps to avoid or prevent the event. Example of this include accusing rape victim, domestic violence survivors, kidnap victim of behaving in a manner that somehow provoked their attackers. So researchers suggest that hindsight bias cause people to mistakenly believe that the victim should have been able to predict future events and therefore take steps to avoid them. For example, Radhika falls asleep in a class. Mohan attributes her behavior to laziness. When he fell asleep in class last week, however, he attributed his own behavior to the all nighters he pulled finishing a term paper. So this explain a fundamental attribution error. Next biases is a self-serving biases. Think about the last time you received a good grade on a psychology exam. Chances are that you attributed your success to internal factor. I did well because I am smart, or I did well because I studied and was well prepared. A two common explanation you might use to justify your test performance. What happen when receive a poor grade? Though social psychologists have found that in this situation you are more likely to attribute your failure to external forces. I failed because the teacher included trick questions, or the classroom was so hot that I couldn't concentrate. So these are the examples of excuses a student might come up with to explain their poor performance. Notice that both of the explanation lay the blame on outside forces rather than accepting personal responsibilities. So psychologists referred to this phenomena as the self-serving bias. So why are we more likely to attribute our success to our personal characteristics and blame outside variables for our failures? So researchers believes that blaming external factor for failure and disappointments help protect self-esteem. Next bias is a just world hypothesis. Just world hypothesis, you can say the defensive attribution hypothesis. It is a social psychological term referring to set of beliefs held by an individual with the function of defending themselves from concern that they will be cause or victim of a mishap. So commonly this attribution are made when individual witness or learn of a mishap happening to another person. In these situations, attribution of responsibilities to the victim or harm does for the mishap will depends upon the severity of the outcomes of the mishaps and the level of personal and situational similarities between the individual and victim. So more responsibilities will be attributed to the harmed as the outcome become more severe and as a personal or situational similarities decreases. For example, attribution defensive attribution is the just a world hypothesis, which is where a good thing happen to good people and bad thing happen to bad people. People believes in this in order to avoid feeling vulnerable to situation that they have no control over. So this also leads to blaming the victim even in a tragic situation. When people hear someone died from an car accident, they decide that the driver was drunk at the time of the accident, and so they reassures themselves that an accident will never happen to them. So despite the fact there was no other information provided, people will automatically attribute that the accident was the driver's fault due to an internal factor, and thus they would not allow to happen to themselves. So another example of this attribution is a optimism bias, in which people believe a positive event happen to them more often than to others, and that negative event happens to them less often than to others. Too much optimism leads people to ignore some warnings and precautions given to them. For example, smokers believe that they are less likely to get lung cancer than other smokers. Another belief is a cultural influence on attribution style. It is also known as a cultural bias. Cultural bias is when someone makes an assumption about the behavior of a person based on their cultural practices and beliefs. For example, a cultural bias is the dichotomy of individualistic and collectivist culture. People in individualist culture, generally Anglo America and Anglo Saxon Europeans, are characterized as societies which value individualism, personal goals, and independence. People in collectivist culture are though to regard individual as members of group such as families, tribes, work units, and nations and tend to value conformity and interdependence. In other words, working together or being involved as a group is more common in certain culture that views each person as a part of community. So this cultural trait is common in Asia, traditional Native American societies, and Africa. Research shows that a culture, either individualist or collectivist, affect how people make attribution. So, people from individualist culture are more inclined to make fundamental attribution error than people from collectivist culture. Individualist cultures tends to attribute a person's behavior due to their internal factors, where collectivist culture tend to attribute a person's behavior to his external factor. So research suggests that individualist culture engage in self-serving vice more than do collectivist culture. Individualist culture tend to attribute success to internal factors and to attribute failure to external factors. In contrast, collectivist culture engages in the opposite of self-serving vice, self-effacing vice, which is attributing success to external factor and blaming failure on internal factor or the individual. Now, theories and models of attribution. The first theory of attribution is a common sense theory. In his 1958 book, this theory is given by a header in his 1958 book, The Psychology of Interpersonal Relations. Fritz Hader suggests that people observe others, analyze their behavior, and come up with their own common sense explanations for such actions. So, Hader groups these explanations into either external attribution or internal attributions. External attributions are those that are blamed on situational forces, while internal attributions are blamed on individual characteristics and traits. According to Header, behavior is a product of capacity and motivation. Capacity refers to whether we are able to enact a particular behavior, that is, whether our innate characteristics and our present environment make their behavior possible. Motivation refers to our intentions as well as how much effort we apply. Header contended that both capacity and motivation are necessary for a particular behavior to occur. For example, your ability to run a marathon depends on both your physical fitness and weather that day. So, as well as your desires and drive to push through the race. It explain or shows your motivation. So the common sense theory believes that people observe, then analyze and explain the behavior with examples. Another model or theory of attribution is a correspondent inferences. Edward Jones and Keith Davis developed the correspondent inference theory. This theory suggests that if someone behaves in a social desirable way, we do not tend to inform much about them as a person. For example, if you ask your friend for a pencil and she gave one to you, you are not likely to inform much about your friend's characters from the behavior. So, because most people would do the same thing in a given situation, it is the socially desirable response. However, if your friend refuses to allow you to borrow a pencil, you are likely to infer something about her innate characteristic due to this socially undesirable response. Also, according to this theory, we do not tend to conclude much about an individual's internal motivation if they are acting in a particular social role. For example, a salesperson might be friendly and outgoing at work, but because such a demeanor is part of the job requirement, we will not attribute the behavior to an innate characteristic. On the other hand, if an individual display behavior that is typical in a given social situation, we tend to be more likely to attribute their behavior to their innate dispositions. For example, if we see someone's behaving in a quite reserved manner at a loud and boisterous party, we are more likely to conclude that this person is introverted. So, correspondence theory says that a people make inferences on the basis of three factors: its degree of choice, expectedness of the behavior, and effects of someone's behavior. Next theory or model is a co-variation model. According to psychologist Harold Callies, covariation model, we tend to use three types of information when we are deciding whether someone's behavior was internally or externally motivated. First is a consensus, or whether other would act similarly in a given situation. If other people would typically display the same behavior, we tend to interpret the behavior as being less indicative of our individual's innate characteristics. Second, distinctiveness of whether the person acts similarly across other situations. If a person only acts a certain way in one situation, the behavior can probably be attributed to the situation rather than the person. And third one is a consistency of whether some acts the same way in a given situation each time is occur. If someone's behavior in a given situation is inconsistent from one time to the next, their behavior become more difficult to attribute. When there are high level of consensus, distinctiveness and consistency, we tend to attribute the behavior to the situation. For example, let's imagine that you are never eaten cheese pizza before and trying to figure out why your friend likes cheese pizza so much. So, all of your friends also like pizza. It is in high consensus. Only one doesn't like many other foods with cheese. It's high distinctiveness. And if your friend like every pizza he ever tried, it's high consistency. So taken together, this information suggested that your friend behavior is the result of a specific circumstances or situation. It means the pizza tastes good and it is a nearly universally enjoyed dish. So rather than some inherent characteristic of your friends. So when there are low level of consensus and distinctiveness but high consistency, we are more likely to decide the behaviors is due to something about the persons. For example, let's imagine that you are trying to figure out why your friend uh, Carrie likes to go skydiving. None of your friend like to go skydiving. It is in low conscience. Carrie likes many other high activities. It is in low distinctiveness. And Carrie has been skydiving many times and she always had a great time. It is in high consistency. So taken together, this information suggests that Carrie's behavior is the result of an inherent characteristics of Carrie. So rather than a situational aspect of the act of skydiving. So from these sources of information, observers make attributions decision on the individual behavior as either internal or external. Next model is a three-dimensional model. This model is given by Bernard Werner. This model suggests that people examine three dimensions when attempting to understand the causes of a behavior. First, stable theory, or you can say that a stability. It refers to whether the behavior will happen again in the future. Second, locus, or you can say a locus of control. It refers to whether the behavior was caused by internal or external factor. And third one is a controllability. It refers to whether someone is able to change the outcome of an event by expending more efforts. So, according to Werner, the attributions people make affect their emotions. For example, people are more likely to feel pride if they believe that they succeeded due to internal characteristics, such as innate talent rather than external factors such as luck. So, research on a similar theory, explanatory style, has found that an individual explanatory style people is linked to their health and level of stress. Thank you, class.